All right, everyone. So this is the first quiz that I'm doing. You'll notice a slightly different accent this time because Thomas didn't make this quiz. I did, and yeah, hopefully everything goes well and we um, learn something. Uh, yeah. Uh, Let me know if everything is audible, and we'll just get started. Hello.
Looking.
Okay.
All good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's working.
All right. So I guess there's no better way to go than just to get into it. So, question one. So, this is, all these spots are um, small blind versus button 3-bet pots, and they all start like this. So, button opens 2.5. We 3-bet them in the small blind to 11.5, and big blind folds and button calls. So, first spot is here, ace deuce deuce, and or two tone, and we bet 18. They call, and then the turn's a 9, and so yeah, bet check, better check, and not in range.
Okay, well, I think the way to filter the not in range is going to be the bet size, obviously, right, on the flop,
Sure.
and because it's really the only action there that's going to give us a not in range in this case. And I think based on that bet size, the ace jack is not in range. Just a bit too big, I think. But everything else, I can probably find an argument that, like certainly the ace king, I think is the perfect bet size.
Okay.
And I think that definitely the king 10 and the 10-8 can fit in that size. But the ace jack seems a little out of place.
So why ace
If
king
I
but not ace
recall-
jack?
Because the button is calling with ace queen a lot of the time. So we don't want the button to dominate the hand, probably.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Villain has ace queen, right? So a lot of our ace x that are like when our ace x is going to be like on par with him, we're not going to want to bet this super polar size and get it in when like he's got stuff that beats us. You can bet ace queen for this size if you want, because then you're chopping with his ace queen. But ace jack, still a strong hand, but it can't go for this like bet like this super polar like bet and then get it on the turn type of line that you're thinking about doing with ace king. Like ace king, you could always get in this line basically. All right. Anything else?
So we probably don't want to check call with 10-8 of diamonds here. So that's probably the hand we want to bet always. It depends. I think if we are, at least if we are checking 10-8 here, we are check raising, I guess.
It doesn't seem strong enough to check raise though. So I kind of like betting. But ace king also wants to bet a lot. Ace king wants to stack off. Ace king wants
Yes.
to triple barrel. So
Yes. Ace king just bets. It wants to go.
How big?
It wants to go and let it go. Ace king is definitely betting.
Okay, and if it's betting, how big?
Oh, it's probably just gonna go jam.
Not quite.
You think?
I think
right.
it's a kind of
Maybe it's
blank,
too
right?
big.
So you don't really need to bet so large. I think we can bet smaller and then just get it in on the river.
So the solver's going to want to try and get 3 streets with it, right? Like it's always going to want to try and get 3 streets.
I mean, I think on this blank, I think so. Like I think if the turn was a bit more scary, I guess, I think we can shove sometimes.
Okay, yeah, you guys basically have it. Yeah, ace king is gonna be betting. All right, and how would you sort these two?
King 10 can actually afford to check call. So, and we're out of position. We don't want to be betting a ton of draws. So it makes sense that none of these are pure bets. And so I assume 10-8 sprinkles in some bets, just not at full frequency, because then you get raised too much and so on and so forth. Like you don't want to face a raise, but you also don't really want to just check 10 high. So I think 10-8 is indifferent and King 10 checks.
Yeah, getting raised with King 10 is not good, I guess. When you bet and get raised, and we have to fold, that would be sad.
Yeah, so after you take this line on the flop, it's not like either of these have any showdown value.
What is happening if we are checking and face a bet? Are we check raising all in? Or are we just folding? I guess check raising would be the play, right?
10-8 blocks more pairs for what it's worth.
It blocks what?
More pairs.
Like 10s
Pocket
and
8s,
8s?
pocket
Yeah,
10s,
okay.
10-9. If that happens to float, I'm not sure. I guess 10-9 diamonds, yeah. So yeah, more blocker effects with 10-8, and the king doesn't actually have showdown value, yeah, but it can suck out on the check back range, right? Like it's one of those like you have, if they check back here, you can also make EV by hitting a king. Because they're gonna call a flop with single pair hands, right?
Okay.
And so we can suck out on check back range, which gives incentive to check more, King 10 more.
Can 10-8 not check it on the suck it on the check back range? Like name some hands that King 10 sucks out on, but 10-8 doesn't.
Well, I think King 10 is more likely to suck out on check back range, which is why it's a pure. I think it's a pure check, and 10-8 can, yeah, it totally can suck out on check back range. Like it's a flush draw at the end of the day.
Maybe
you're
also
gonna
smaller
spend
pairs. Smaller pairs like 8s, 7s.
So, I mean, what hand does King 10 suck out on that 10-8 doesn't?
Pocket 8s, pocket 10s.
Neither of these
I guess-
hands suck out on pocket 10s, and then, yeah, it's pretty good. It's gonna be very, very minor. There's a more pressing effect.
Okay. Well, it's a high
Also,
flush.
he
You get
can
higher
have
flush.
some. Yeah, you can also have weaker flush draws, right?
Sure.
Yeah, he will check back the weaker flush draws. That's at least some of the time. 'Cause
Okay.
You don't want to get jammed on those.
Yeah. So I heard like most of the right answer. Yeah. So King 10 checks, and then 10-8 bets, and I'll like show why. So what do we have? We've got bet, call, 9 of spades. Yeah, so King 10, pure check, and then 10-8 is 50-50. And I guess I'll show why. So if you check, he's going to be betting King 10 of diamonds, King Jack of diamonds, King Queen of diamonds, King 9 of diamonds sometimes, King 8 of diamonds, Queen 10 of diamonds, Jack 10 of diamonds, and then, well, he's 8, like, 9-8 of diamonds and 8 with a diamond check, right? So, King 10 is going to block his bets, so you can check. Like when you what do you want to happen when you have King 10 of diamonds here, right? When you have a flush draw, you're hoping the turn goes check check, right? You're not hoping he bets into you, right? You're hoping that it goes check check, and you can you're hoping it goes check check, and you can make your flush, right? Right?
Then what are we doing if we face a bet with King 10? Are we folding?
Call.
No.
we call.
So if you
You
check
just
and
call?
face a bet, you're still going to call King 10, right? But
If
do you
the
think
bet
the
is
EV
larger?
huh?
If he makes a bet a little bit larger.
Yeah, now
like
we have to
half
start
pot?
folding. We have to start folding
Okay.
because we just don't have enough. But the main thing to think about is like, what do you want to happen when you have a flush draw, and you decisively want to not have to put more money in. You'd rather just see the river for free, right? So if you check King 10, you're more likely to face a check back because you block, well, his King 10, his King Jack of diamonds, his King Queen of diamonds, his King 8 of diamonds, his King 9 of diamonds sometimes, right? And then, the 10-8 blocks some of the bets, but also lets a lot of them through, like 8, yeah, he's going to check back 8-7. So if he's going to check back, you're blocking his checks. So you're going to have to bet yourself because he's going to bet into you. So you'd rather you put the bet in and maybe get some folds with other hands, right? And the other thing is that if you bet, he's going to be folding pocket 8s, right? So you're blocking his folds. And you want him to fold, right? You guys agree?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you want him to fold pocket 8s, for example, and you're blocking the fold, right? You want him to fold, and you're just blocking him. Whereas King 10, you also, you block some folds, but only from hands that you just actually crush. He continues with slightly worse sometimes, like Jack 9. So, yeah, that's the reasoning behind there. Does that make sense?
Wait, but like blocking 8s with 10-8 suited is probably a bad thing.
Yeah. So,
right? Because we want to bet 10-8 suited, and if you block the 8s, it's probably a bad thing. And then I guess if we bet and we fold out better flush draws, it might more be the reason why we want to bet now, isn't it? Like if we bet and he folds King Jack of diamonds.
Yeah.
Like we are folding the dominating hand.
Well, if you have King 10, he cannot have King Jack.
No, if you have 10-8 of diamonds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's good. Like there's two arguments, but the main thing is you want to fold out things that, if that happens and then he calls and the river is a blank, then, well, yeah, you're gonna give up, and he's gonna bluff. He's gonna bluff with most of his missed diamonds, unless they're really bad. Yeah, the only one that is because this King 9 is a pair. That's why he's gonna bluff his missed diamonds. 5-4, 8-7, King 8, King Queen. King 9 just has the pair of 9, so has enough showdown value.
So, once again, so I get it clear, the main reason we are checking the, I think it was King 10 of diamonds, is that we are blocking the folding range.
No,
we're
blocking his bets. We're blocking his bets.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah, we are blocking his bets. And the main reason we are betting 10-8 suited is that we are folding dominated hands. Is that correct?
So 10-8 suited also blocks some bets, but it also blocks some folds. So, it does both, basically. So
but blocking folds is a bad thing, isn't it?
So, if you look at let's just examine all the flushes, right? 5-4, 6-5, 7-6, 8-7. These are almost pure, 5-4, 6-5, and 8-7. They're almost pure bets. Why are they almost pure bets? Because when you bet them, you can fold out a lot of, stuff that you get crushed by, right? Apart from 5-4, and if you hit your diamond, then you can just jam off with them. But if you if we're back here, let's say, you'd rather fold out stuff you lose, stuff that beats you, right? 8, 7s, 10s, right? So if you can fold out stuff that beats you, then you should bet it. Like you're like the main thing that's going on is that some of your flush draws you need to put in the bet range, some of you need to check, and some of you obviously put in both, right? But you don't want it to be that like you should sort them such that you do what he wants you do, like he does more often of the time what you want him to do, right? So if you're betting,
Yeah, sure.
you want him to if you're checking, you want him to check back. But if you check, like if you check, then is he going to do what you want him to do, right? So when you have king 10, if you check, you're blocking all his stuff that bets, like king 10, like king jack, like king queen, like king 9, right? Like he's going to check back more because you block his bets, right? Whereas 10-8, if you check, that has a little bit, but you also block, when you bet, you block the stuff that folds. So, it's like a double, it's like, it like the effects sort of cancel out a bit, so you do both with that hand. Maybe we can look for a pure bet, right? So 5-4, like let's say 6-5 of diamonds. If you bet 6-5 of diamonds, you fold out stuff that beats you, like 8s, 7s, right? 10s, queen jack, like all this stuff that literally beats you, like queen jack, king queens, like king queen of hearts, like all stuff you lose to with 6-5. And yeah, you block his 6-5, right? But that's it. Like that's just one hand, and like there's all these hands that you fold out that you don't block. You want him to fold, right? But 10-8 blocks.
Yeah, sure,
some of the
that makes sense.
10-8 blocks some of the folds. Like queen 10, jack 10, king 10, right? You block these
Oh,
things. You don't
you're
have to
saying
fold.
that?
Yeah.
So that's the reason why we aren't betting 10-8 suited purely?
Yeah.
It's a street.
Because it blocks
Okay,
the
okay,
folds
okay,
that
yeah.
you want him to fold.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. All right.
Mhm.
Cool.
Is there a reason why we are not jamming? And I mean, the bet sizing kind of implies that we are going all in on the river no matter what.
Yeah. There's a few gives up. Like if a river is a brick, say the 4 hearts. Yeah, there's a few hands you give up.
Okay.
Like flush draws, which is like you blocking the stuff that he'll fold. So you might not want to.
But are we folding anything if he jams the turn? Or isn't that a play he should be taking?
We fold some stuff, like things that we
Okay,
ship that are like really just trash. But
Mhm,
like flush
okay.
draws, we have to call basically.
Yeah, okay.
But he's gonna ship some stuff, and like you can be pretty confident you know what he's shipping, right? Like he's shipping like ace queen, ace jack. Well, even ace jack folds sometimes, but like yeah, 9-8's the weird one, but like you know what he's shipping, and like you might just have enough equity to call. But like so, if the question's like why do we bet this 3/4 instead of just jam ourselves, we basically do on like most runouts. Just slightly better to get in on 3 streets than 2. Like you've got 25.
Are we still balanced if we decide to check
Sorry?
the street? Are
Sorry?
we still balanced if we decide? No, not in on the turn, but on the river.
Oh no,
when the
you
stakes
you give up a shit ton if he or you give up a ton if you check. Like if you check and he bets,
Okay.
you're folding everything.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, like you just it like if you give up, you're done. Like he's gonna bluff because there's some stuff he wants in, and like he's gonna bluff everything.
Okay.
Because you don't. The only things he doesn't that's indifferent between betting and not betting is when he already beats your hand. If he already beats your hand, his equity is 100% anyway, so he doesn't need to bet. But it doesn't really matter. The rake's already paid.
Okay.
So,
Mhm.
yeah. All right. Next question. So, same pre-flop, and then instead of 3/4, we bet 1/10 on the flop, and Queen of Diamonds turn. So bet, check, better check, and not in range.
Now I guess ace king wants probably to go large on the flop, so that's probably the hand that's not in the range anymore.
Especially with a diamond.
Very good.
Show the situation one more time. Thank you.
I'm just gonna check quickly the OBS is running. Yeah, it's good.
I think because flop was so small, we might want to bet ace-9 pretty often here. Not super sure.
Nice. That would be the hand I would purely check here. Nice one.
Yeah, I mean, any other size, I'm with you. But I don't know how we're supposed to play with that size. So.
When you want to bet ace-9 here, what sizing? Because I think it's a check.
It would be half pot or less.
Yes.
I don't see why we would ever bet less, but if we did, it would be less.
Don't we
I
have
think-
to bet king 7?
Yep. Yeah, you're not wrong. But I also think that the pure check is going to be kings.
I guess it depends a lot on the bet sizing we want to take on the turn now. I could imagine betting ace-9 small or king 7 a little bit larger, or kings like a small size again. Because
But
we don't want.
do we agree that we are always betting king 7?
I think so.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Why?
Well,
The
King
7
7?
unblocks the calling range, and the king. So obviously it's the nut flush, but on top of that, the king, I assume, blocks a pretty similar betting range.
also,
we
we
want
are-
to bet. We want to bet with king 7 because it's strong and it has great equity when called. It may there's no real reason to check with that hand at all.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a value
also,
bet.
I
It's a
think
value
it's
bet.
better like king jack, right? I mean, king jack would block a lot of flush draws. King 7 is
Yeah, it's
blocking
just a
nothing.
value
You
bet.
can have so many.
Is this the main reason again that we are unblocking his check back range?
No, you just have a flush.
Okay. So we are not.
So king jack is
Do
pure.
we have a check raising range here?
Sorry.
Do we have a check raising range here?
I mean, you also block his bets with his hand, right? Like he's going to be betting, like king high flushes, right? So you block bets.
I'm curious to see
Yeah.
king jack diamonds, but we can do that later.
Okay, and which one?
I think. So the king, like instinctively, intuitively, you would want to check kings right here, but the thing is, it also blocks the betting range.
What blocks the betting range?
Well, the having kings blocks the betting range, I assume. There's going to be some stab. If you check, there's going to be some stabs with either a single card flush draw or a Broadway gut shot.
Okay, does he also have like king X of diamonds?
True, it blocks it blocks the calling range, the continue range that beats you, which is a good thing, a good reason to bet as well.
This, to be honest, is one of the questions that gave me a hard time, and it's this exact part. Because the ace-9 of spades unblocks like draws, right? Is that why it would tend to want to check a bit more? See, if the ace nine and king to me both sort of can check. They both sort of
Yeah, they both
can
do check
bet.
sometimes.
So I don't know.
They both do check sometimes.
Yeah,
but which
like
one? Which one can bet? Which one is more likely to be bet?
So you're saying that the check isn't pure?
Yeah,
Or
one's
is
better
that
check.
what you mean?
One's better check.
Yeah.
And the other one's pure check.
Yeah.
Well,
It is pure check.
One thing about kings is we can bet another diamond river when we hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
Actually,
hearts blocks, hearts floats that will stab the turn if check 2 as well. So they're bluffing less into us when we have this particular hand, which is more incentive to bet. And since we have the king diamond, yeah, we can improve and value bet the nuts. And then we can, and that also blocks them having the full flush with like king 10 of diamonds or whatever. So more incentive to bet again. Obviously still a hand that you're going to check quite a bit. It's indifferent, right?
Sure.
But it seems like ace 9 is a check.
Yeah, so kings, you can bet a future run out with it. Like, it has more valor probably than ace 9. Like, and ace 9 blocks, yeah, his ace. So it'll block that from happening. So, yeah, let's just look at it. So originally I wanted to use aces here, but I had missed something. Like, aces actually bets a small percentage of the time. But I thought aces was quite a neat check. But yeah, ace 9 suited.
So we do have a small size.
Ace 9 spades is a pure check. Yeah, yeah. Kings will bet for a small size. You can get value from a queen, right? So you bet, and you get called by queen jack, king jack. Oh, sorry, you get value from a queen, queen jack, queen 10, right? King queen. You get value from all these hands when you have kings. King queen here. You lose to ace queen, but yeah. Or you can barrel off on a diamond. You can jam the river. But ace 9 suited, if you check, he's gonna be checking back a lot of ace x, and you block those. And you can, and then the river comes a blank. Oops, that's not a blank. You can bet ace 9 yourself. King 7, right, is a pure bet. In fact, a lot of the flushes are pure bets. Because if you check, he's going to be betting these, right? But you block his bets and you want him to bet, right?
Mhm.
So you block his bets. That means you need to bet yourself if you want to put money in the pot, and you kind of do, right? You have a flush.
Do we have a check of flush? I'm trying to find flushes that check.
Flushes that check.
The weaker ones?
Stuff like
Weak one,
when you don't block quite as much of what he has, like Jack 9.
So never checking a king high flush, basically. But
No, not really.
Check.
Not really.
Got it.
In fact, like
Okay, nice.
most of your flushes, you just bet. A7 for some reason is a frequent check. We can look into that one if we want, but most flushes just bet.
No, I think I got the idea. Thank you.
Generally, you should just bet your very strong hands. Yeah, I wanted to use aces, but you actually bet aces a small fraction of the time. I didn't see it when I originally made the quiz, but that was one question that changed. The idea is that you block a lot of stuff he'll check, and then he bets then you unblock all his flushes, right? So he's gonna bet, right? And you have aces, and you can just trap him, and you can obviously, on the river comes, if the river comes a card you can donk, you can still check. You unblock everything that checks back, and then he's gonna bet, and you're gonna have aces, which is the nuts. You literally only lose to pocket twos, which he like never has because he would have raised on the flop.
Does anyone else have a little bit problems with the video quality right now?
Yeah, the server's kind of dying.
I don't really know what to do about that.
It's
I
do you
think
have
it's
admin
okay.
rights, Marcus?
Do I
on
have
the
what?
server?
Do I have what?
Admin rights. Basically, see if you can change the server region. You know how to do that?
I don't think I have server rights.
Hmm.
Where do I go? Where do I go for that?
It's not doing anything it doesn't usually do. It's just
It's in server settings.
when you.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, it's right here on the top right, but it seems you can't do it.
Oh yeah.
Server region Sydney. Yeah, shit. Yeah. The next best thing is to restart the stream if it gets really bad, but it's fine. It's just like this. Like it's fine right now. Like Discord lags and it gets blurry some of the time. That's just what it is with screen share.
Okay. Yeah, my bad. All right. Next question. So, you bet 10th and he calls, and then 10 of hearts on the turn. You bet quarter pot, and then he raises you. So what are you gonna do?
So we probably want to bet ace queen suited, larger on the flop.
There's two ace queens. Which
Everything
one?
is in here.
You want to bet this one larger
It's
on
a
the flop?
suited one.
So everything's in
this
the
is
range.
right.
Everything's in the range.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Speaking of ace queen suited, I think it might just be the pure jam.
Which one?
Suited for the spades, right? Unblocking the continues.
Não,
Unblocking the front rows.
mas estás a ver o vídeo?
I think it's likely to be the pure raise.
Yeah, I agree. Ace queen suited, the spades is the raise.
Okay. Someone want to give a
Thought
better,
as well,
more on
actually.
why?
So we unblock all of the flush draws that will bet into us and that will raise us, and continue to a 3-bet. First of all.
You think he calls you with a lot of flush draws?
Not sure. I guess we're only jamming if we're 3-bet, right? I mean, if he has the ace of hearts, something like the ace of hearts flush draws, I don't know if there's a ton of combos, but that certainly calls.
I think he's calling with a fair amount of flush draws.
Yeah, he's calling with some.
I also think so I don't know how much that logic holds up, but it is a good way to get money from weaker hands, because when we have, for example, right, let's say we had the ace of hearts, queen of diamonds instead of ace queen of spades. If we're 3-betting, then it's going to be more likely that they have a value hand, right? Like something that crushes us, not a flush draw that raised us on the turn. Whereas if we have ace queen of spades,
what are you worried about crushing you?
I'm actually, we are not crushed here, but I think it's just that there are 2 flush draws and a lot of river cards are just bad for us. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you're just gonna push with. So why are you gonna be? So there's only one raise. Why is ace queen of spades gonna jam and say ace queen offsuit with a heart and diamond not going to jam all the time?
Well, we get more calls with ace queen of spades, and with the other hand, we just have a lot more blockers against the flushes, right? With our ace, the heart flush draws and the diamond flush draw, we are blocking those.
You know, I think it's the queen of diamonds, right? That's the one that you don't want to have with the ace of hearts.
Why?
Because you want him to have the diamond. Like that's the ace of diamond is the worst diamond I think we can have with the ace of hearts. So it's blocking what he's gonna call with in a way, right?
Yep.
Blocks combo draws, which are the flush draws that will most likely call the jam.
Yeah. So I'll just you guys are all saying good stuff, but also you just want to push in with ace queen. But if you have this one, it's not as imperative because you block the flushes if they come in.
Right. Which is why I think it's a
So it's raise or call with the ace with the other one, right? It's raise or call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Which one calls? Which one folds?
Probably call with the king nine of hearts, because in position was supposed to raise most of the flushes, flush draws on the flop, and that are the diamonds. So now we dominate more of the flushes, I think, with king nine of hearts. So that's why we choose to call with the hearts and not with the diamonds.
No, I think it's the other way. We call with the diamonds because we have much better equity when the diamond comes, we win. If we call with the hearts, when a heart comes, we don't necessarily win.
What do you lose to?
The ace.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Call this one because it's the nut flush draw, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas this one, he could have ace five of hearts, ace four
Exactly.
of hearts, like a lot of
exactly.
ace eight of hearts, stuff like this, and you don't want to, you don't want to cool yourself. Like you're obviously gonna have to stack off, but yeah, you just fold. It's also got like nothing else going for it. Yeah, I'll just look at the sim quickly. So what is it? 2.4 call, and then 10 of hearts, and you bet, and he raises. So, yeah, just look at his raising range quickly, right? Ace jack of hearts, ace queen of hearts, some ace eight of hearts, right? So if you jam, he would call those off, and you'd lose. You'd be dead against those ace x of hearts, right? Whereas king nine is always live, unless he has a tens or something. Yeah, but whatever. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, and then ace queen, when you've got such good equity, like such good like backup, like it's not really backup equity. You're still super strong, but ace queen of hearts, you block his heart flush draws, like or all the heart flush draws he has are going to be worse, right? So like if he has jack nine hearts, you're already winning there. You don't need to raise now when you have when you block his the flush draws that might complete. So you'll see here, like anything with a heart is almost always jamming, and then if it has no heart and no diamond, then can I lock it? No, I can't lock it.
You have to lock top pair.
Yeah, when you have like ace of spades, queen of clubs, ace of clubs, queen of spades, anything without a heart or a diamond, you just jam. It's gonna be better. When you start blocking them, you can start to call, and then if you block both, you can really start to call. But hearts is the main one. Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, same sort of scenario, but this time we 3/4 the flop. The turn is offsuit 9, and we check, and he bets quarter pot. So what are we doing?
Is ace king really in range? Without it?
Yeah, I guess not. Like ace king wants to bet the turn always.
Yeah, again, especially with those suits. If I don't know if ace king like splits at all. If it ever checks turn, but with those suits, there's no way it checks. I would say.
Why these suits?
When we have, oh, okay. So I was gonna say when we have a diamond in our hand, we're more likely to we're less afraid of seeing free cards. But I just realized how wrong that is because that blocks the betting range if we check. So now I'm not 100% sure. Still do think ace king is gonna bet a lot, but I'm not sure if it can check sometimes. I guess yes, of hearts does.
Check.
Oh,
Are we
5-4.
Yeah.
5-4 isn't going to check on the
Oh, it's
turn.
it's a pure
Yeah,
bet combo.
I agree to that.
Why is that?
When
Because we can
we,
fold out better hands.
We had that in the first question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. You don't block anything that folds. Yeah, very
Yeah.
good. Good job.
I just had an epiphany.
Yeah.
if we check ace king here, are we wanna check raise all in or at least check raise? If we check it,
Yeah, we check to
Yes.
let flush draws bet into us, so let's just raise.
I would want to raise it, but
No other hands you want to raise?
ace king.
oh well. The problem is, wait, do we have a fold?
I thought we were
Yes.
talking about Iskin.
Yeah, we're talking.
No.
Did I miss something?
Yeah, I wanna raise ace king.
Okay.
Yeah, I think King 10 is too weak to raise. It, at the end of the day, it's just a flush draw, but it's definitely going to be a continue. And King Queen that apparently chose not to barrel the turn, which is fair. It's mostly going to shut down.
Yeah, the king 10 is just a call, right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I'll show you some stuff with it, but yeah. Yeah, this is correct. Yeah, so ace king is just value raising, and then yeah, if you jam king 10, you're probably going to fold out his weak flush draws, which you beat. So you're folding out the hands that you beat, and you're gonna get called by too many hands to just beat you, right? So let's go to the sim quickly.
Three of hearts. No, my free I just said.
Sorry.
No, I brain folded. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. All right. 9 clubs. Yeah. So 5-4 diamonds. Always betting, right? Because you don't really want, like, you block, like, you need to keep betting. You can fold out so many worse hands, and you've got decent equity like the diamond or a 3, right? If you check, yeah, ace king off, yeah, depending on the suits, can definitely check. We have which one? Ace of hearts, king of spades. Yeah, I think I meant to do ace of hearts, king of diamonds. But
So the king of diamonds does check more often. It's just that there's a sliver of checking from the other suits.
yeah.
Yep.
I meant to have ace of spades, king of diamonds.
Got it.
Yeah, they're all check raising. They're all going to check at some frequency. Even ace of spades, king of hearts. Yeah, and then yeah, so we check, and so basically what happened is we had a very polar range on the flop here, right? So we have a polar range on the turn as well. So we have some bets that are very polar, like we saw in question 1. And we also have some checks, but you also want to protect your check range with some hands that will, do well. Because if we're going to be folding a lot, right? Quarter pot bet, and we're folding 61% of the time. But yeah, so you need to prevent that a little bit by having some just check raises or check jams, like this, raising to 60 and raising to all in are the same thing. Like you never fold.
I have a question.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, me too.
Stuff, if you don't mind. Well, you want to go first?
I think we have the same question, so you can go.
All right. So, well, basically, earlier I said something along the lines of, if we have the king of diamonds, we're going to check more, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Turns out the solver does do that.
Yeah.
And now I'm wondering, how do you reconcile that with the fact that the king of diamonds bets the king, queen of diamonds or whatever that's going to bet into us on the turn when we check? If you know what I'm saying, like why are we intuitively it makes sense to check the king of diamonds more, but then why are we doing that here if it blocks the bets?
Yeah, so we definitely do check the diamond more. It does block some bets. doesn't really have the other ones. He has the king of hearts, but most of the other stuff would have folded. Yeah, most of the other stuff would have folded by now. So yeah, you block some bets, but also like you're less afraid of a diamond rolling off.
Yeah, it just has to do with the check back line, right?
Yeah.
We're better off in the check back line.
Yeah, like now ace king of diamonds with a diamond can more happily bet, or jam or something like that, or like yeah, with a diamond we'll jam, because yeah, it's more happy to jam. Like there.
Got it.
All right.
I have also another question.
Sure.
On the turn, when we look at our betting range there, we are betting king queen diamonds, king jack diamonds.
Sorry.
But yeah.
Yeah, well,
king
we'll bet
queen and the queen.
sometimes, yeah.
And I don't really get why, because I think they are pretty much the same, like king 10 of diamonds.
This might be something a little bit too specific to get into, but I think he has tens. So because he has tens,
Yeah, okay.
that's a small hand that matters. But no jacks or queens. I wouldn't look into this too much. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you yeah, the main thing is that if you were to jam king 10, right? Doesn't really matter which one you do, but like you're gonna fold out. So you do fold out. I mean, he can never have these hands to call you with, but he's gonna fold queen jack, jack 10, 10 8, 7 6, 6 5. All these hands that you actually beat, right? So you don't really want to jam king 10. You'd rather make your flush and maybe you cooler him, right? Or something to that effect. Like if you hit a king, he might be good against. No. Yeah, the main thing here is that you're gonna fold out anything you beat, so you may as well call and hope to hit your flush for a cheap price. You'd rather him have checked, but also you thought you blocked a lot of his bets, but yeah, he still bet. Okay. Yeah, and hands that beat you just get. So if you bet and if he bets and you jam, he's calling off a lot of the time, right? And it's basically strictly hands that beat you. Either hands that beat you, or you block like tens, right? Like you block tens,
Yeah.
and like that would be a hand you beat, but you block it. And like all these hands, either you block, you like literally don't allow to happen. Like he cannot have king queen diamonds. He cannot have king jack diamonds, but you just get crushed. So yeah, calling king 10 is much better. Yeah, I guess you fold out 3s, 4s, but whatever. All right, we good to move on, or is there any more questions?
I'm good.
All right, let's move on. So, 10th pot on the flop. Check on the turn. And we're on the river.
Could somebody explain me in a few words the theory behind the 1/3 bet on the flop? The 1/10th bet on the flop? I just don't get it. What hands do we use there?
Someone else want to try?
I can try because I vaguely remember that sim, and it's the range. You're like, if I recall, you're betting quite frequently, at least 50%, and it's split in 10% and 75, right? Like that's what the sizes we've been looking at. So obviously, not every hand is going to want to polarize for 75, and you end up with a lot of hands that go for thin value at 10%. Why, I think, is because of all the pairs, like the deuces aren't actively good for us, as in like we never have trips, but they're in position almost never has trips either. So it gets very brickish, and the ace. On the ace, we have a fair advantage, but I don't think we have such a crushing advantage that that's one of those boards that you want to smash bet large all the time. Instead, there's a lot of hands that want to bet small.
Sure, I can explain a bit more. Yeah, you have the polar range, right? Like centered around ace king, and that bets 18 or 3/4. But you have a lot of other stuff that is much more happy to bet smaller, because you really do crush this board. Your EV on this board is huge. It's like 60-something% of the pot is yours. So you want to you use your, like, here's one of the spots you have a real strong range advantage, and it's really hard to defend against 10% on this board. Like, how are you going to float? Like, anything that's not a pair is really hard to float against even a 10% bet. Like, how can in position float 8-7, right? He just has to fold because he might already be losing to an ace. Like, if he's up against like you also have the overpairs to, like, not the overpairs but like the pairs, right? Like tens, jacks, queens. Like, these can all bet this size, and then you're also putting in all your anything that's not ace king and some ace queen. You're putting into this size too, so it's not like you're devoid of ace in this range. So it's not capped. It's not super capped, right? So you're okay. And yeah, neither player has any deuces. Like the in-position player, like the button has a few, like has literally pocket twos, but there's one combo of that and you just suck it up. So that's the explanation behind this bet. Yeah, it's probably a mistake to bet too big. Like, if people 1/3 the pot, like when they see this board, like that's probably a mistake. I don't know how much EV it would lose, but it feels like it'd lose quite a bit. Because you really want to be able to have that polar range to stack his ace X, right? Like, it's just so good for you if you have ace king and you can stack him with an ace. Like, he's dead, and yeah, it's very good. And if you putting in the small size is too much, it's not as good. Yeah, that's the explanation behind the 10% bet. Hopefully that's clear.
Thanks a lot.
And I think all the hands in the elements fit that 10% bet pretty nice. I think they all get through that filter. On the turn, when we check, that's when the filter kicks in, and for sure ace jack doesn't check there, right? I mean, ace jack probably is just about a pure bet on the 3 of hearts.
Why is that?
So
why don't you want to bet ace queen?
Well,
Because ace queen is unblocking the bluffs.
Sorry?
I'm not sure about the answer, but ace queen is unblocking the bluffs. Like the hard combos, it wants to barrel in position on the turn, so that makes ace queen maybe more of a check calling or check raising hand. But I'm not sure because we kind of lack the playability.
Yeah, I agree with this. I think ace jack blocking the hearts is very happy to bet because it blocks half of the flush. Well, not half, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it blocks hearts that are going to bet into us if we check. So it's probably going to be a pure bet. Whereas ace queen is going to, after betting 10% pot, like, you're going to barrel turn often for sure, but I mean, not always.
Yeah, so ace jack's not in the range, but I guess the one thing to consider is the valor of it across the streets, right? So ace jack, like, it can almost always bet the river for value, and like there's some rivers that it just, like, it really hits hard. So
it's more robust.
Yeah, it's got better valor basically. It's got more ability to bet across all the streets. Like, yeah, you lose to ace queen, but like, you'll be able to bet 3 streets very often. Yeah. Okay. So
and
now
then I guess the 6s is probably a pure check.
Why?
Because your best case scenario there is just probably getting to the river.
Yeah, it's gonna
more or
try and
less.
showdown value.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have really showdown value. I thought if we are gonna check out of position, then villain is gonna bluff all the missed
Well,
diamonds.
remember on the flop there was just a very small bet. Okay, so that's not going to have much of a filtering, and then there's no filtering on the turn.
Yeah,
so
I think
the
you're right.
showdown value
Yeah,
has a little bit more you know. where
Yeah,
I'm
I
trying
forgot that. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
I think there's also no reason not to slam dunk bet ace queen in this line. It's a check down line. Our range and how much we bet is going to be pretty based a lot on hand strength. You know, top pairs almost always gonna bet because we happen to block the other top pairs that are gonna bet into us.
Um,
We-
I thought we are check raising ace queen here.
Yeah,
Thanks.
sorry. I what I was going to say is we can check call ace queen, but we can't really with kings. We're probably better off bet folding. So like worst case scenario, I'm not. You know, I'm trying to be optimistic, but kings we could bet fold. That's okay. And ace queens we can check call or check raise. So I think the ace queen is the better check, and the kings is the bet.
Wait, but isn't kings blocking the check down range with something like?
But there's no when there's no betting on the turn. I don't think we got to worry so much about villain having an ace. To be honest with you.
Yes, and that's why we can comfortably check call kings here, right?
No, I think we can bet kings for value and fold to a raise,
And check
we
raise
can and we can check call with aces, or we can with the ace queen, but we can also check raise with the ace queen. So checking with the ace queen, I think, probably is less problematic. Is that's a way to put it?
What are you gonna do if you check ace queen and he bets?
Yeah, for sure, raising.
Probably just
no way we are calling.
Probably just shove.
Okay.
Or call, right? But shove probably.
And if you bet it, what are you gonna do?
If we bet ace queen,
Yeah.
and got raised,
Sure.
just call it off, I guess.
Okay. What size are you gonna bet ace queen?
I think if we bet ace queen here, we want to go for a larger bet.
No, well, we want to get check raised. We'd like to get check raised. That's the best EV, right?
Is he really gonna raise it often?
ace queen here.
Is worse hands?
Well, we can't get check raised. We're out of position.
We can't. No.
We can check raise them, or
It's our best EV with ace queen is getting check raised. Is checking, then getting raised, and then shoving.
checking.
If
get
we
bet
get
into.
if we get raised.
No, if we get bet into, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I'm a bit confused now, but I'm still sticking with the ace queen as the better check. Just because it can deal with problematic situations later on.
And what size do you want to
Where
bet?
the ace king with the,
Are you value betting
just
kings
wants
or are you
to-
bluffing kings?
yes, yeah, when value betting king.
For
Yes.
how big?
Kings does block more bluffs
Yeah.
that are gonna bet into it. Less
Like
incentive
half
to
pot
check.
again.
Yeah, you can bet kings. You can get value from a jack or any of it. Like he's gonna be floating this bet with all his pocket pairs, right? So you bet quarter pot with if you bet small with kings, like quarter pot or something like that, he's gonna call with every single worst pocket pair, like 4s through 9s or 10s or something. So
Wouldn't it be bigger than quarter pot? Check later.
I'll check the size, but you could definitely bet kings for value. Yeah, and so ace queen,
sure.
it can check, like Will said, to check raise, or you can just bet jam yourself.
I think quarter pot's probably probably a decent size actually for king on the river, like a.
Yeah, so if you bet ace queen, like a lot of the time you're just gonna jam.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay.
Right. So what was it? 10th pot, and then the 3 of hearts, and then the check. right? So ace queen, right? There you can bet small sometimes, and then you can, or you can just jam yourself. And the reason you can jam is that, like, I won't spend too much time on it, but like, you can just overbet jam for like 3x the pot, with ace queen, because you don't really lose to very much in his range. You lose to literally just ace jack, right? And his total two pair, basically, like, the total two pair is 2.54 combo, is 3% of the time, just 3.5% of the time, and yeah, like you can remember from like the ace king queen game, like what's going on. Like you can let's just not calculate, but you can go review that, and like you can to figure out like how big you can overbet. You just have to know what percent of hands do you lose to, and that's basically what determines how big you can bet. So you lose to 3.5%. So that allows you to jam, and then yeah, kings you're going to be betting for value. Yeah, half pot, and you just get called by every pocket pair. 10s, 9s, 8s, 7s, 6s, sometimes 5s. And if you get raised, like maybe you have to fold, but or you can, it's indifferent. Or it's folding to the large size. Yeah. 6s is going to try and check down, or bluff catch the river. Yeah. Or yeah, and ace jack is going to always be betting. Yeah, any questions on this one?
What's the determining factor in whether you check or jam ace queen? I didn't catch the suits when you showed them. Sorry. Is it like suit based, or is it just pure randomized? Because
there's like
space for sure unblocks.
There's some small suit effects, but you can always basically
Mostly
do both.
Got it.
Yeah, you can either check jam, right? Because you beat all his. If you check, he's going to be betting all this stuff, and you can jam against all of it basically. Like you only lose to ace jack, which is pretty nice. Or you can just value jam yourself, or you can hope to get, like, there's sometimes you bet smaller to protect the half pot size. He raises, and you snap him off. So, yeah, everything can be done with ace queen. Like, it's basically the nuts.
And ace jack being better than ace queen, but it shoves less is just because we blocked the jack x that can call.
Yeah, so he's going to be betting jack x, like any jack x he has. Like
yeah, okay, sure.
Jack 10, jack 9, right? So.
Wait, he is, but isn't ace jack mostly betting? Or am I crazy? Did I miss that?
Sorry.
I mean, it's got practically checked down
like,
to the river.
Ace jack sometimes.
As out of position,
ace jack
mostly bets, right? But my question is like, a bet of the betting it does, it's smaller than ace queen. Like it doesn't jam as much as ace queen, right?
Yeah, because you're hoping to get called by an ace or a jack, right? And like if you jam, what's he bluff catching? Some king jack, right? Obviously his ace jack, but either ace x or even jack 10, jack 9. Like you're hoping to get called by that, so it's not as good to bet to jam ace jack.
Why is there no ace jack suited?
Sorry.
Is there a reason for that?
Why? Who has no?
Why
ace
is there
jack
no ace jack? Yeah, for in position. Oh, there is. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, he just doesn't have ace jack hearts because over here, if you check, he's gonna always bet ace jack hearts.
Okay.
All right. Is that it?
I'm fine.
All right. Next one. So the board changes slightly. So same pre-flop, and the board comes 8-8-3 rainbow, and we bet half, and they call. And turn is a 6. We check and they bet. So what are we doing with our hands?
I think ace-9 is not in the range. I'm not sure if it's ace-9 or ace-6. But I think if we go for the half-pot bet, kind of destroy the playability of ace-9. So I would guess ace-9 is not in the range. Bet ace-6 because we kind of get more polarized now.
I think if we half pot, we can bet a lot, so we don't have to be super polarized. And ace-6 is worse than ace-9 in terms of just like merge betting, so probably that one would not be in the range.
Wait a minute. 10-8's not going to check the turn. 10-8's going to continue, right? Because it's on fire and another club just hit. I know that's a primitive way of looking at it.
It's still like super protected. Like even if a club hits, we still stack off.
I just don't see why you wouldn't want to why you would want to check 10-8 when you've.
I think there's an incentive to check 10-8 because you unblock
check
all
shove.
You just don't like look at AA3, right? Like they're gonna flow with a bunch of backdoors, and you unblock all of these because you have spades. So there's incentive to trap. 2/3 of the backdoor flush draws missed, and they're gonna stab into you some of the time when you check, right? So you can. I'm not saying it's a pure check or anything, but you can totally get some value by checking tonight with spades, I think.
But if he bets and he has a flush draw, he will call, right? So we're getting money.
Yeah, but if he has double hearts and would otherwise bluff on the turn, we kind of lose on that.
Yeah.
So I agree that we can check sometimes 10-8 suited here.
I think
Unblocking all
like
the
if
bluffs.
like I think with something like if you did have like a flush draw, no, sorry, I'm still kind of I think 10-8. I'm just trying to find a better explanation.
Well, we had one hand where we said when we have a big hand, like a flush, we would bet it.
Yeah, 10-8. I wouldn't hold back there at 10-8 because you know what? When he makes, that's what I was gonna say. When he makes his flush, like draw, like with his clubs now. I mean, if we had clubs now, we'd want to actually bet. We'd want to bet small on the turn. If we had clubs. Sorry, I'm rabbit hole again.
The difference between the flush hand and this hand is it's a I forgot what the flush was, but the king high flush was blocking the continuing range and the flushes from the in position player. And now that we have trips, we are not really blocking any of the continuing range, I think. So that's why I still think we can check 10-8 here. Maybe now raise 10-8.
Yeah, very good.
Wait, that's not what I wanted to say.
So we bet 10-8, right?
Yeah, you bet 10-8.
It's never checking.
Sorry,
It's
I
never
misunderstood
checking.
what you bet. Yeah, you bet. You're gonna bet the turn with 10-8.
Yeah,
You don't block
that's
any of his
okay.
folds.
Hey, wait. I wanted to say the exact opposite.
Yeah. I made a mistake there. I thought you meant.
First, I thought I was so right. Then I thought, no, I'm so wrong. And then I thought I was right again. It's so poker.
Yeah. 10-8
Why
doesn't block the
are
folds.
we?
All right.
But then again, we are unblocking the bluffs. Okay.
Well, I guess that leaves a6 as the raise and ace-9 as the bluff catcher, because at least it unblocks bluffs.
Sorry,
So ace-6 raises, taking a value from flush draws. I'm not exactly sure what the size is going to be, but we can get value from flush draws, and we can use the protection, of course, from random bluffs that have overcards. So it's gonna be, I think, a raise. And
I can get behind that.
Because, like, out of if you have to pick a
whoever's
bluff
typing in
catch,
the background, can you mute your mic? Yeah, whoever's typing, just don't speak at the same time as you're typing, because.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That was
yeah, I
me?
think
If someone else actually
Oh.
can be checking on the Discord to make sure no one's typing in there, that would be great, because I can't. I only have one
Might be
screen.
me, but I heard something
That
else.
was definitely me. I didn't realize my
Yeah, no, it's okay. If you can be checking the Discord, someone can be checking the Discord to make sure no one's typing in it. That'd be great, because I can't look at it. But yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I'll try.
Yeah, just make sure no one's.
So yeah, I was saying, I think a6 can actually get value straight up from War's hand to call, and just needs quite a lot of protection. So I think it's going to be the raise, and also happens to block boats, which has some merit as well. And
I like that.
if you're going to pick a bluff catcher, right, there's like one call and one full left. So if you're going to pick a bluff catcher, you don't want to block hearts. You want to have spades, which they very rarely have, I assume. So ace-9 is the better bluff catcher than ace-10.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, so ace-10.
I guess
He's gonna float the flop with some hearts and diamonds, right? And he's gonna bluff some of them. And you block his bluff. So yeah, you fold ace-10. Right? Ace-6. Yeah, so this is something that people don't realize about paired boards, and like ace-6, you're just jamming for value. Right? Like you get called by 10s, and you get called by sorry, not 10s, 7s and 9s, and like that's it. That's the only stuff that beats you. Like he has a little bit of 8x, but whatever. You actually even crush his continue range. Like ace-6, and then also like you lose to, like you don't know which overcards you need to dodge. Like just jamming, cashing your equity here is just really good. Yeah, and like you said, you want to be calling with spades. They're just better because you don't block his bluffs. He's not going to be floating with as many spades. That's very good. Yeah, I guess we'll take a look at it quickly.
That was a really good explanation, whoever.
Yeah, very well done. I don't know your name. I can't see who was speaking, but
silence.
Yeah, so
that was good, because that was one of the ones I had an issue with, and you really cleared that up. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so basically, if you check, yeah. So again, what was happening? You bet almost your entire range for half pot. He calls with like most of the stuff he continues, right? So you have to check a lot on the turn. You can have some like bet lines, but you need to make sure you're checking quite a bit. So
can we explain why 10-8 of spades is checking here? Oh, it's always betting. I forgot.
Yeah, it's always betting. Okay. Because if you bet, he's obviously going to call worse, right? But if you check, you're blocking the bets from say 10-8. 9-8 of spades, 10-9, right? Like you're blocking all the stuff he would bet. You see that?
They get there with a very wide range, I guess. So that means blocking the 8 is very relevant, and
yeah, you don't.
There's just so much stuff.
He's gonna bet the 8, right? It's not just that, but like it's also like you're not gonna be betting all your 8s. Well, you're betting most of them, but like the ones you check, you at least let him float. Or like if you check, you at least get bet into. Right? But 10-8 blocks all the bets.
What are we trapping on the turn?
What do you mean? Like, what do you check calling?
Yeah, no, I just mean like checking a very strong hand in general, because you just said we barely check an 8 ever, so I'm looking at.
Like what 8s do we? You don't need to check. You don't need to be too concerned. Like look, if he has an 8 and you have jacks, like it's just unfortunate, but you don't need to be too You don't need to be too concerned.
That's not what I mean. I'm trying to figure out how we pick those hands, because like we want to bet an 8 for sure. That makes a lot of sense. So if we want to pick some hands to protect our range, So aces is a classic, right? But yeah, I see it's mostly over pairs
Yeah.
at some
Call.
frequency now.
But yeah, like there's like lots of stuff to protect your checking range. Like you have aces, right? It's a classic. I mean, literally all these overpairs. Like we'll check some at the time and check call, right? So like not. So I assume stuff like nines will jam, tens will jam, jacks will jam, but like queens, right? It's a hand you're using to protect, right? And then say it breaks off, you check.
Mhm.
He jams, like you're snapping off queens and aces, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, but like even like if it comes off like really bricky like sevens, right? Like fives, like these are like not just like pure bluff catchers. Like it's got a lot of EV, right?
Hmm.
So sevens. It's like that's quite a bit of EV for you're not bluff catching with like ace eight, ace eight, but like ace nine, spades, right? Like these aren't really pure bluff catchers. Like they're really good bluff catchers, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think that's what. Yeah. Anyways, the main thing I wanted to say is like, yeah, you can like when the board is paired here, like he doesn't have very much 8x. He's got pocket eights, one combo there. He's got a couple of combos of overpairs, like say 6. Yeah, how many bet? Say like a total of 5 combos bet. Yeah, 5 combos of overpairs, 1 combo of pocket eights, and 2, 8, 9 and a half. Like you only lose to like 9.5 combos. Oh, and the sevens, right? So a6 is a jam, like it's a value jam. It's pure value, and like I think this is something that a lot of players would miss. Not realizing that like you get called by plenty of worse, right? Like obviously you lose to the 8s and 9s and 10s and stuff, but like ace queen calls you, ace jack calls you. Not even some of the time, like all these flush draws call you, like thinking there might be even like all these flush draws call you, which is good for you, and then like even under pairs call you, 3s, 4s, 5s. 6 calls you, right? So like you're not even crushed, right? Like even ace queen, no flush draw, no nothing, will call sometimes with a spade, even without a spade, as long as it doesn't have a club. Like a6 is a very very good jam here, and I think a lot of players would miss it because they don't realize how strong it is. To have basically like this is like yeah, a very strong 6 is very very strong here, and like you're generally going to be wanting to be like raising your more mergy hands, that like especially when you don't know what the river is, right? Like there's just like all these rivers here just aren't very good for you. So yeah, jamming something like a6, even jamming something like raising stuff like 10-9, with the overcards and the gut shot, like it's good stuff. And like obviously like these types of like weaker overpairs will jam as protection too, but and even 7 some of the time. But I think that's something that players would miss. So I think that if you guys start implementing that, it'll be pretty good for you. Like this board 8-8-3 is a lot different than say a board like King Queen Queen. But
yeah, that's something I wanted to ask. I mean,
Yeah.
7-7-3 looks similar to me.
Sorry.
When we have a board like 7-7-3,
Sure.
that would look pretty similar to me.
Okay.
But 9-9-3 is maybe not that good to jam, right? Because he has more 9x.
9-9-3 is probably so like once you start getting maybe 10s, like 10-10-3, like you might want to be a little bit more careful. But even still, like you'd be surprised. Has to do a lot with these pairs, like 7s.
Yeah.
So yeah. Neither player has that much 8x in their range to start with, right? Like you've got like a little bit of pocket 8s, 9-8 suited, 10-8 suited. You have a little bit 10-8 suited, King 8 suited, Ace 8 suited, right? You have a little bit of these. So Switch to combo mode. Yeah, like some of them 3-bet, right? Like you 3-bet them some of the time. But then, like in him, yeah, he's got like ace 8, king 8, 10 8 suited, 9 8 suited. But there's no offsuit ace 8x, right? So, when you start getting like ace jack, like tens even, like it's not even that much tens. Jacks and queens and stuff like that. Like there's more offsuit stuff there, so that becomes more of a factor, and there's less overpairs. So like then it starts becoming more of a factor. But yeah, it's something to realize, like how strong your hand is when you have when you don't need trips. You can have something like as weak as 6x jamming for value. Yeah, let's move on because I don't want this video to take too long. Same board here. Bet, call, check on the turn, and then we're on the river. So, yeah. Not in the range, a check, a small bet, a jam. Which one's which?
So 9-8 is not in range.
Okay, why?
We would bet it on the turn.
I'm not sure about that.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we've seen it last hand, right? We are betting 8x. Or not?
That was a different turn. That was a 6.
True.
The queen definitely changes the board, right?
Okay.
Like both players
So
have
it's
a lot
not
of
mine.
both players have a lot of queen x that would have floated the flop, and you would have bet quite a substantial amount of queen x, more queen x than you would have bet 6x. That's for sure.
It's the king 10 of diamonds, I think, when the queen of diamonds hits the turn that's going to bet all the time.
Block the queen X in question, so it's a decent bet.
Yeah, and we've got additional equity, and it's just all kinds of good things come together.
Are we blocking the queen? Is in position supposed to be floating with the king queen offsuit on the flop?
I'd have to check. But the main thing is you just continue betting because you've got the flush draw.
Okay.
And similar, yeah. So.
Yeah, it still makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So okay. So now we have some bets. Oops. Bet small, bet large, check, or bet very large.
So it's another check down line of void ranges, and
it's not a check down line. It's a half pot, but check on the turn.
yeah, okay, sorry, just loose definition of check down line. I was gonna say aces jams, but then I realized my folly. I think 9-8 is gonna be the jam. And I think aces is a pure check because we block checkbacks.
Not sure. I think actually aces is the bigger bet, and I think 9-8 is going to check because villain is going to start betting his jacks.
Oh yeah, they're going to bet ace jack,
jacks.
They have, I guess.
So we could check and get bet into a fair amount, or he's going to start bluffing with some flush draws and stuff. So I think the 9-8 is so strong that we can actually check.
That's fair. Yeah. So ace is going to be the jam, and king jack is going to block bet.
Yeah.
Respective hand strength and all that.
Yeah. Let's take a look. There's more to it. Like aces was like. Aces is going to block his bets, like his bluffs. So you have to bet yourself. Yeah. Let me just show you.
Oh, they're going to block ace high?
Let me just show you.
I guess in that line they would
yeah.
bluff
So
ace high.
So what's the line? It's bet call, then the queen. Check. What is it? Jack of clubs maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's club.
Oh right. Did I mess up? 12. think I might have messed up this question. Oh no.
I think you put in check flop in the sim and it bet flop.
Oh, is this? This is another
Yeah,
one. What?
your line is wrong. Check
Yeah,
the
the
flop.
line is
You have to
wrong.
check there. You
Yeah, it's
Oh.
a check down. Right?
bet the
It's
flop.
a half top bet. on
Thank you,
flop.
thank you, thank you, thank you. My bad, guys. My bad. Jack of clubs.
Yes.
Yeah, it's jack of clubs.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I got
Yeah,
worried.
that looks better.
Nice, jack. Yeah, okay.
I was gonna
because
say
we
this.
bet the flop, they
Yeah,
bluffing
okay.
is high. Got it.
All right, so maybe I'll point some things out. So yeah, 9-8 is a pure check. Why is it a pure check? Because you block nines. Nine's gonna check back, but he's gonna bet a jack. So yeah, well, you guys are right. Like you can check. He's gonna bet into you. You could snap off. Obviously, you're gonna snap off an 8, but you can jam, right? Like he's gonna be betting a lot of stuff, like a queen. A lot of queens, even queen 10 jams. Interesting. He's gonna be betting a lot, right? King queen, ace queen, ace queen, ace jack. Right. So he's gonna be betting. He's gonna be bluffing. Sometimes too. Right. And it's just so good for you to be able to check. Aces, on the other hand, actually blocks a lot of his bets here. Right. So ace queen, he's gonna be betting ace queen. He's gonna be betting ace jack a good portion of the time. He's gonna be bluffing with a lot of his ace x here, and so you don't want to block that. You want to let him. Like you're hoping he has those hands to bet, right? Either for value or as a bluff, doesn't matter because you beat them.
Yeah.
So
for some reason, I thought the ace 5 type stuff wouldn't bluff. Well,
yeah, it
ace
bluffs
9
like
I
all the
guess.
time. Yeah, like you have to know when you have showdown value with ace high, and
yeah, that's fucked up.
They have very little. Because of the half pot bet on the flop, right? Like you're gonna.
Yeah, but
like,
it's surprising, right?
yeah, so like they're gonna have like they're gonna start betting here. Like if you check, they're gonna have to start bluffing with a lot of stuff. Right? Like that's not like that's nothing basically. So like king 10, king jack, king 9, like this type of stuff. And then so ace high they might check back. And so like the bottom of their range is literally ace x once we get to the river. Right? And so they bluff it.
I mean, also out of position has to bluff a lot on the turn, right?
Sorry. Yeah, you need to. You're going to need to protect your check range here. So you're going to have a lot of hands in here, but he's going to be bluffing, right? Like with a lot of stuff that's not. He's going to be bluffing here with a lot of stuff weaker than an ace, right? He's going to want to think about checking down, but when the jack comes, like a lot of stuff, like what's your range? Your range has like very little stuff that loses at this point, right? And you're going to be bluffing anything weaker than an ace, right? Like if you have king, like very little, like unless it has got really bad blockers, like most of your stuff that's weaker than ace is going to be betting. Like king 9 suited, right? But you're just going to be bluffing. So that means he has to be like his ace x no longer has very much showdown value unless you decide to give up. So he's going to need to draw from there to choose his bluffs. So yeah, the like you have to think like when you're applying the rule that ace is checked, it's not like you have to think about what he's actually checking. And ace high is no longer good, so he's going to be having to bluff it at a good frequency. That's the aces. And yeah, you bet, and he just calls with you with like all sorts of stuff, like a queen, a jack, right? Queen jack. He like really thinks he's gonna win, but he doesn't. Yeah, obviously lose to like his eights, but and yeah, and there's a straight, but yeah, you just beat too much that you don't want to jam, so you jam aces. Yeah, we already went by why you check nines, check 9-8 rather, because you block nines. Yeah, and king jack, it's thin, but I think this is something that separates really good players from I mean still good players, but you know, really good players who win a lot get value from these types of hands, right? Like king jack, like 5 big blinds is quite a bit. Like the EV difference is like 1 big blind basically between betting it and not betting it. Like our specific one is king jack of hearts. Yeah, King Jack of Hearts, like the difference between, I mean, like, yeah, it's about one big blind for most of your hands. So, getting thin value is important there. And then, yeah, on the turn, yeah, you're just going to bet King 10 all the time. Because if you check, he's going to be betting into you. You block the bets. Well, sorry, let me rephrase that.
Screen's getting really, really blurry there, Marcus.
Oh.
Just saying.
Damn it. I guess the good thing is it's recording my screen, not recording the Discord, so it should be okay.
That's good.
Yeah, the recording will be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, the recording will be fine, but yeah, I'm sorry about the Discord, guys. Maybe, look, I think it's a combination of either my internet or Discord being congested right now, but yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think we can move on to the next question. Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. So this board is ace 10.
Let's go.
Yeah, almost done. Ace. So this board's ace 10. We bet quarter on the flop. He calls. We quarter pot the turn. He calls, and then we're on the river. So not in range. Bet check. Bet and check.
I think ace 10 blocks too much to be in range. I think it's gonna check the turn. At the very least, the turn is not gonna be a bet. Blocking not just the ace, but also the 10x that we'll call a small bet is pretty bad.
Anybody else?
I think we check the ace 10 because William will bluff a lot on the river. Right? It unblocks his bluffs.
Were you talking about the turn, or were you talking about the?
I was talking about the turn. I was trying to figure out.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Okay, I think. Sorry, guys. I think the 5-4 diamonds, blocking. You know, like like the ace 5 for villain. I think the 5-4 diamonds is a bigger, probably.
Yeah, we are not blocking.
It's bigger bet on the flop, I think, because it's got the backdoor, which is great. It's got a great blocker, and if you're going to get value for that combo, I think you have to bet it a little bit, like a bit larger to kind of get what you want out of it, so to speak.
We don't have blockers to the ace.
To ace 5, which is kind of
no. But it's the same suit.
I mean, I think 5-4 might be just a give up on the turn.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
No, I think it bets the flop, right? Larger because with the backdoor, and
that could be true. I mean,
I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm confused.
But I think it's both fine because even if you
it's
bigger,
definitely
you want to
within
give up.
range.
You want to give up at one point here, right?
Yeah, 5-4.
But I think it has value as a bet on the flop.
What does?
5-4 is a bigger bet on the flop. I think it has value there, but it's definitely not within range. Whether it's the turn or the flop, I think it's not within range.
Yeah,
but I think it has more to do with the flop than the turn. That's all.
No, it's the turn. There's just not a whole lot. It doesn't have anything going for it to be barreling the turn.
Okay.
And we block 5s and 4s, right? So those start folding probably.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, it's
there's some good stuff between these hands that hopefully you guys will be able to sort out. So you've got a bet, a check, and a better check.
Well, aces only blocks the bets, the trips that will bet. So it's very likely going to bet itself.
Yeah, agree to that.
Mm.
So it's
and ace 10 is probably the... Yes. And ace 10 is probably the check.
Yeah,
As we are blocked calling
ace
range.
10 is the check.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
that
Yeah,
makes
that makes
sense.
sense. And king 10 would be
Better check.
Mixing.
better check, exactly.
Why are you gonna bet it?
Uh,
To get
value
called by a weaker
from low-
10x.
Yeah. Lower pocket pairs, maybe.
It's got value. It's got value. It's a value bet, I think.
Yeah, king 10 would be a value bet if you're betting it. Yeah.
So like a 10% bet then on the river again, right? With king 10. Not more.
Yeah. I think it's probably wrong, but I think if you would bet king 10 here, we can't choose any larger bet size.
All right. What do we do with aces,
You
guys?
just block. You just block too much with 8-10. So ace 10 is a good check. Aces is a great bet, I think. Just bet it.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
better than.
So
called by a
basically,
lot.
like, yeah, you need to stop trapping here. Basically, you're never like if you block all the aces, like you just have to bet and have them both catch you. Like you can't. He's never gonna be betting. He's not gonna like anything that you bet. Like anything that if you check, like he's gonna stack up with anything he bets. Like if he has tens, he's gonna stack up with you anyway. But like you don't want to be blocking, like everything he's gonna
The
bet.
10.
Like he's gonna, like, you're blocking everything you would bet, so you have to bet yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, and now these two are interesting.
What hasn't been said is that king 10 happens to block hearts and ace 10 unblocks missed hearts. So king 10 is going to be bet into less often and bluffed into, that is. And ace 10 is going to be bet into a bit more. But it does
It's
look
probably
like both of them check at some frequency, right? So
What are you gonna do with the majority of your 10x here on the river after bet?
check.
Okay.
I mean, we all probably got the solution by now.
Sorry.
So ace 10 protects the 10s at check.
yeah.
Yeah. So king 10 is better than all the 10x, so it can bet small for value. Like it can get value from
Yeah.
queen 10 and jack 10, but ace 10. Yeah, we'll look at this one quickly. So, different board, right? Ace 10. Let's not put the line in wrong this time. Yeah, so 6%, like 6. What's a turn? 7.
Hearts.
Yeah, and then bet again. 9 of spades, is it? And
9 of spades, yeah.
yeah, so yeah, aces you need to bet yourself, because he doesn't call with horse, or he's like you're blocking all the bets he might have. You're gonna, and if you bet small, like you're gonna be betting small with aces, right? And then like all of his sets, you're gonna get jammed on it anyways, right? So it's okay. Like you're gonna be able to stack off anyways. So you do just bet small. What else was there? Yeah, 5-4. Like you're just gonna be giving up all the time. It's got nothing going for it. Like you're.
Can you look a 5-4 on the flop? What size is it choosing?
Yeah, it's a mix between all three.
Okay.
But yeah, the majority of our range will bet quarter pot. There's some hands that will bet larger, like near the top, like ace king, ace queen, and like you'll have some bluffs that are basically gut shots. But yeah, it's not the flop. Yeah, so aces there. Yeah, the majority of your 10x is going to be checking, and so ace 10 will protect that a bit. But king 10 will bet small because it beats all of, like it can get called by queen 10, jack 10, and all the weaker like 9s and stuff, like 9x, 10x, like they all call. So there's more merit to betting the 10, the king 10 than there is the queen 10, and yeah. If he has, you check. Yeah. hopefully that's good. And then yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else to say. You guys actually got this one pretty good. So I guess let's go to the second last question.
Yay.
Yeah, this was well done. Yeah. All right. Same board. Quarter pot on the flop. Check on the turn, and we're on the river. So not in range. Check. Quarter pot bet or half pot bet and a jam.
So I think Jack 9 of diamonds always barrels the turn, and therefore is not in range.
Okay.
And I think H7 is the bluff jam.
Yep.
Because it happens to block the set of eights, but mostly it just unblocks every fold. Because they never get there with a single pair of eight, right? I don't think they get there with 9-8 or what have you. So or 8-7, but they might certainly get there with pocket eights, which is nice to block.
Yeah,
And then you unblock a bunch of stuff, so it's a good jam.
Is that right?
Think it is.
Yeah, it's correct. So you also block ace-8 of spades, for example.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so king nine's the check, right?
Yeah, it's a give up for the same reasons. Blocks folds.
What hands does it fold? What hands fold?
I mean, I guess that would depend on the size that you choose to bluff with, but
It blocks nines. Nines is probably always sometimes folding, even against a small sizing.
Yeah, sure. Even like king 10. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Single pair.
So why don't you bet ace-5 bigger?
To get called from Queen X and 10X.
Yeah, it's also just not.
Maybe.
Yeah,
It's not blocking the
There's a
calling
lot of
range.
ace-x in the range, right? So like, there's also like
Yeah, you're gonna get called by ace-7, ace-8, ace-9.
ace-8 jam.
I wonder how many ace-x
yeah.
they check back on the turn.
Some of the time for sure, right? Because you're not gonna yours is
Should be a lot.
They must have some, right?
This
So.
is one we should just look at. Yeah. So 6, and the turn was the queen, and yeah. So Jack 9 of diamonds will always bet, and then yeah. So yeah, I thought 8-7 would be much harder to find as the jam, but apparently you guys found it. But yeah, the idea is that you block pocket eights, which calls you, and ace-8.
That's it? That's
Yeah, 8-7. Yeah, this is
it blocks, right?
it blocks the like ace-8 suited. Like that's the main hand. That's the
Yeah.
main hand. It's not pocket eights. It's ace-8 suited, which
Right.
has a lot of
Oh, right.
right. Like he's got half a combo of it, and
Okay.
and the eights too.
No, I didn't find that.
Yeah, I was very
I'm
impressed
glad
when
we
someone
did.
just said that right away. I was like, wow, okay, yeah, good job.
Yeah, I mean, it's also because villain can't have any straights here, right? Because when I look at the range, villain cannot have king jack really. And I thought king 9 might be also a good bluff because he blocks a straight, but he doesn't have a straight at all. So, yeah.
They have a straight.
Yeah, rarely.
Have
right?
king jack. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, what is that? 0.2 combos.
They have like 0.6. It's not the main thing though. The main thing has to do with the aces, the ace-x. Like every ace-x is gonna get it in. So
Yeah.
yeah. So why is something like ace five betting smaller? Like, yeah, he's going to be calling with a fair amount that beats you. Like if you bet really big with say ace five, like you're just going to isolate his range to stuff that you lose to. So if you bet pot, he calls with like a little bit of king 10, and king jack, but like the majority of stuff you're going to get called by is like ace jack, ace 9, ace 7, right? And then ace jack, or there. And you're going to get jammed down, and you would probably call it. Yeah, you have to think about sort of how high up you are, or like where you really are in your range with ace 5, and you're really trying to get called by the queen or the 10, so you will bet smaller. Doesn't make too much sense to bet extremely big. Something like ace king will make a little bit more sense to bet very big, because then there's weaker ace x to call you, like some of this stuff. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else. Yeah, the king 9. Yeah, depending on what you bet, like he's got like king 10, king queen, king jack of clubs, which like if you bet very large, like if you bet, it's gonna be folding, right? So there's no point in bluffing it. It's gonna be folding like king 10, and as you bet bigger, like he folds them more and more. So like if you're going to be jamming, or if you're going to be betting king 9 of clubs, like you have to think about what size you'd use. It'd probably be pretty big to get a fold, and you block his folds. Yeah, I have less to say that you guys actually got the 8-7 one, so that was the main trick. So yeah, we only have one more question left. And yeah, I guess we're getting a bit tired, but let's just finish it off. So this is the last board, king, queen, queen. Same pre-flop, quarter pot on the flop, check, and then we get he bets half pot on the turn.
Wouldn't we always bet queen jack of hearts here on the turn?
Why?
Value?
What about ace king?
Nothing else.
I think taking into account what you said earlier, Marcus, like it has more valor, and of all the like we're out of position, we don't want to barrel every single flush draw, and there are no how do you say this, pair plus flush draw, right? Because the only known hearts are the trips. So I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but I think
there's some better stuff to talk about.
And ace queen blocks checks backs more than queen jack as well.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, so so queen jack, you're going to be blocking his, like with the jack of hearts, you're going to be blocking his bet. Like if he's going to be bluffing like some jack, like jack of hearts hands, like jack x of hearts. Okay.
That's the stuff I need to remember. Thanks.
Well, it's easy to fold jack 10 and raise ace queen.
Yeah, jack 10 is easy to fold.
Why do you want to fold it, open it, or straight draw?
So yeah, I mean it's an open ender, but we have to think about the fact that some of the outs that give us a straight may give them a vote. Not many, admittedly, or a flush. So that thins our outs, and then for that matter, our pair outs are either like dominated or just not live because they have better. Like it's an open ender, but it's kind of a cursed open ender, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I would vote that too. Yeah.
Do you want to raise it?
Well, it blocks the fact that it's a Broadway kind of blocks a lot of folds, right? I guess it does block some trips as well.
I think ace queen is the raise,
Why is that?
and I mean we beat his value bets. We basically have the nuts, and I mean just looking at these hands, like a hand like ace jack is a better call because we dominate his bluffs and he can give up and we can win. And Jack 10 is like the weakest hand out of all these, so it has to be the fold, basically.
Yeah.
Anyone want to give some more reasons for why they think things? Like why raise ace queen?
Well, he can have like the ace high flush draw with the hearts, and he have to call then, right? I mean,
If he has like a combo
He's
draw, he
coming
probably
up.
has to call.
he has to call.
Which way unblock, I guess.
Yeah, having the Queen of Hearts is basically not a blocker to the flush draw, so to speak, because it trips.
Very good. Yeah, there's a lot
So
of rivers that change the board.
It's almost as if we had ace queen of spades just like in the other spots where we unblock a lot of calls.
Okay.
And an ace jack, to contrast what I said with Jack 10, is that it improves. Okay, yeah, it's a gut shot, but at least it's got a flush draw going with it, and it improving to top pairs is not always dead when it calls.
I mean, when I see both hands here, it's easy to say it's ace jack, but in game, I would maybe call the Jack 10 too.
Yeah.
I know it's a fold here because I have to decide between both hands, but
See, if it was Jack 10 of spades, that's probably tiny bit more of a call than the Jack 10 of diamonds.
Yeah, good.
But still a crappy call.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good point.
But yeah.
We just have like a lot of reverse implied odds too on like a lot of
Yeah, there's actually quite a few rivers where you get crushed, like ace of hearts.
Yeah.
He's gonna be betting a lot of flushes in this size, and so like, it's not even like all your straight outs are clean, and the flush outs are definitely more clean. Other than that, yeah, I guess we should look at it. What's the line? Someone want to tell me the line? 6. Turn is 8 of hearts. Check. Have pot.
Yes,
That's
calls.
like
Yeah,
at
alright.
18.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, ace shy of hearts is a pure call, right? Because you should first look at his betting range, right? Yeah, blocking like say ace queen is pretty good. Queen and queen jack, let's say, it's pretty good. And then you can dominate stuff like his heart, which is nice too. And it has quite a bit of equity, like 46%, whereas something like Jack 10, you're just really not doing very well. And it's tough to justify a call, right? When you have 25% equity, you're definitely not getting direct odds. You have some reverse implied odds, right? Like if you were to have called it, it's not guaranteed to. You could get your outs aren't very clean, like flushes and stuff like that exist. So yeah, I mean that's something that maybe in game you might call, thinking you have the odds to call half pot bet with your straight draw and hope to hit, but it's not the EV is not there. Like let's see the EV. For Jack 10 of diamonds is pretty suboptimal by all the big blinds per 100. Yeah. Yeah, ace queen. It's you're going to be raising, not all in, but yeah, there's too many. You want to basically make it that like it's charge anything that's drawing, or get the money in now. Like that's much better for you than if like a lot of like if you were to call, a lot of rivers can change a lot of things, and ace queen is more. The equity is not nearly as high. So you might want it to be like kings you can call because the equity is super high. But ace queen, like you've got a lot of hands that already make it into the call range because their equity is super robust. But ace queen, even though it's trips, you can just get the money in now. I guess we got a little bit tired I definitely got a little bit tired towards the end. But
Marcus,
yeah.
Can you just take a quick look at what size is villain betting his king? Is 16 combos a king queen on the turn there? Is it for the 18? Is that what he's using?
Yeah, he basically uses one size.
Yeah.
Pot, yeah.
18?
Yeah.
Half pot?
Yeah.
Because that really hits villain's best hands this flop, right?
So, I mean, king queen. One thing you have to realize about king queen is that like it's heavily blocked by the board. So like there's 3 kings and 2 queens.
Yeah.
So there's 6 combos total. It's not 16 anymore, right? And they might have raised the flop.
Right. Yeah, true.
So they wouldn't have raised the flop, but he's got 3.7 combos there. 4.7 combos. Yeah, he's got like they exist, but yeah.
I guess it's just going to squeeze the graph together at the top of the ranges a little bit, right?
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah, it's like you need to like you're going to be like king queen is like a very central part to your like value, and so you're going to need to have other stuff in it. So
yeah. Thanks, Marcus. Nice job.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm realizing now that I think a lot of people came a little bit later, which I didn't know was going to happen. Is that still the case? Yeah, there's a lot of people in here. All right. Hopefully that got some stuff across. Like, hopefully there's some answered questions.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
A lot.
I'll try to make sure that there's no mistakes next time with the sims because, switching from the 1.31 to 1.32 changed a few of the solves by a little bit, but not too much. It should be fine. Any last questions?
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
As out of position facing the bet, so after in position bets half pot there.
Here on the flop or on the turn rather?
No. As out of we check, then they bet half pot.
Yeah.
That's right. That no, yeah. So I was looking at the raises, and why do you think we have so few value raises?
Like
I didn't put much thought into it, but I guess
you have a significant betting range here, right? And so you check which is going to be a weaker range. And when he bets, you don't need too many. You're going to check most of your range, and he's going to bet like a significant amount of the time. So it's not like you need to re-raising very much, right? Like this is something that happens in a lot of lines where we bet the flop and they overfold, right? So he's going to fold a lot to quarter pot, right? 36% versus a quarter pot bet. It's quite a lot of folding. And so you're going to have to check quite a bit. And then like anything that continues is probably very strong. He's going to be betting a substantial amount. So you don't need to be too concerned. So like every brick, there's a lot of bricks on this board, you can just check and he's going to be betting into a ton on the river. So you don't need to be value raising a lot. The only thing that you're going to be value raising is basically stuff that it's going for too many runouts are just not as great. So that's basically just ace queen, and then the bluff is 8-7. Blocking eights, basically.
Yeah, because we don't get there with many other trips than ace queen, right? That are not boats. Yeah.
Sorry.
And because we don't get there with many other trips that are not ace queen, right? Like
you don't have like queen jack isn't there, kings. Kings like it's a boat, right? ace queen. And
Got it.
queen is about like everything's about that's a queen, right? So
Yeah.
or
And you're saying that
or you
happens
would
a
have bet
lot?
it before. Sorry, yeah.
And you're saying that happens a lot in lines where we crush a board, we see bet, they have to overfold because we crush it and they got nothing, and then we check. And you're saying that that kind of stuff happens a lot?
Yeah, I mean, so you got to consider
Like-
that our range is significant. Like we have a lot more weak stuff in our range than they do at this point, right? Because like we bet everything on the flop.
Yeah, they overfolded so that their range is much more bulky. No.
So
Got it.
if you look at the equity distribution, like on the flop, our range is like 61% equity. Like we're crushing, right? But then they overfold.
Yeah.
And then its equity is about even, 53%.
Right.
So we could look at the EVs too. Like you have about like just over half the pot, but over here on the flop you had like almost 2/3 of the pot. Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, out of position, you definitely want to be throwing in the checks quite a bit. Like 50% rule still really applies. Like once you bet the flop with almost with your entire range in this case, or most of your range, you need to make sure you're like, unless you're like, yeah, you're gonna have a barrel off, and you also need to like to protect the weak stuff basically. Like you don't want it to be that he can, like you bet the flop and then the turn you're like, all right, I gotta check. You gotta check your weak stuff because you don't want to keep putting money in. Like you don't want it to be that, like you just like he can just abuse that and make you overfold, right? So like you're gonna be folding like a lot to a half pot bet, but you need to trap. You need to have stuff that protects this range even more. So it's a common like I think that's a pretty common mistake too, right? To leave your checking range devoid of anything strong.
Sure.
So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, like once you check the turn, right? Like you've got a lot of like your like his equity is his EV goes up a ton, his equity is there. So like the reason is because you have a lot of like nuts trapped in here. Yeah. Oh, maybe we should have done for like a yeah. So when the river's a blank, he's gonna be jamming in a lot, right? So you don't need to be raising. He's going to bet more most of the time for you anyways. Yeah, anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, can we get these sims somewhere? Are they available like on the Zenith website or something?
Yeah, I'll send
for
them
the
to,
quiz.
I'll send them to Thomas, and we will, and he'll put them on the website. These someone else ran these sims for me. So thanks to Bozer, Bub, and I can't remember who else ran a sim for me. I think he ran most of them. But yeah, I found more. We'll talk about this after the after I end the stream or end the recording. Anyone else have any questions they want on the recording? All right. In that case, thanks everyone for coming, and yeah, if you're watching the recording, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll end the stream now, and we can ask questions later.